Every journal has a beginning, but this one is a resurrection. This is a store-bought leather journal that I picked up recently. The pages are already beautifully aged with that perfect brittle brown that feels like something unearthed from an old attic or asylum. Not distressed yet, but this felt exactly the right type of journal to tell the story that I'm about to tell. I'll be cutting out some pages and gluing others together to reduce the bulk and build in space for layered mess of storytelling, memory, grief, and the rebirth that I plan to add. Because this journal will become the legacy of a woman you think you know. But this is not the story of the Bride of Frankenstein as you've heard it before. This is the story of what happened after Frank was gone, of what happened when the light fades and a woman learns to bring herself back to life. This is the becoming of Vivian Stein, stitched together by circumstance but reforged by choice. She's not looking for love. She's not here for revenge. She's rewriting her own mythology. So come with me as I turn this empty journal into a stitched spellbook of feminine power, dark poetry, and gothic resurrection. Because Vivian didn't just survive the monster, she became the storm. All right, so let's get started here. Again, the store-bought book from Amazon, which I'll link below. Just a leather outside, kind of a suede leather outside with a long tie that wraps around. And the reason I really liked this one is because it has kind of these aged pages. But we need to do some prep because I think this has like a bazillion pages and my story is really not that long because I have 2 months to create this. The other thing that I really like about this one is that this paper slides out of the cover so then I can do some things with the cover, including run it through the sewing machine if I need to sew some things on here, and I can slide out the paper journal in order to work on it and not get any mess on the actual cover itself. This book also has signatures that are stitched in, which you can kind of see here. Let me see if I can get that close. We have the stitches, right? And so I'm going to debulk the book a little bit by taking out some pages. I will set these aside and use them later. The other thing that I think I want to do is age some of these pages, and maybe even we might even scorch some edges. But what I definitely want to do is also, because the pages are a little on the thin side, they're not too bad, but I am, again, in an effort to debulk some of this, I'm going to glue some of the pages together. So come along with me and we'll work on our book together. The book is listed, that this exact book, if you want to purchase it, is listed below. But your story of Vivian Stein could take on any iteration that you want. Mine is after Frank died. You could have created a book and a junk journal of what happened before she met Frank. It would be really cool, I thought, to do one of these in like a composition book that are like $1 a piece at the dollar store, and actually do maybe Vivian's story during high school or, something of that nature. But please feel free to have fun with this and do whatever makes you happy. This is just the journal I chose. So in order to debulk this, like I said, I found where the signatures are at and the stitching. So this is made up of several chunks of signatures. So here's another one where it is stitched. And I'm going to just go through here. Actually, I need to find the center of the stitch section. So that's not it. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's where the thread, you can see you have the stitch section. So I'm just going to, in order to debulk this, I'm going to pull this side and cut it off and set that aside. And then I'm going to very gently, without pulling my threads too bad, I'm going to try to pull this other side off. You might have to go in here and finesse some of the middle part, but what you don't want to do is yank so hard that you cut that string, because then the whole signature will fall out. So that's not what we're trying to accomplish. We will, if you get a little, pull a little too hard and some of your strings break, that's okay, because we are actually, when we get to it, we're actually going to put in some matte medium and we're going to glue these pages together. So essentially what that looks like is, here's the very first signature with the string, as you can see. I'm going to glue these pages together. So on this one, it has two covers, which I'm going to leave. I'll probably end up gluing this one because they've glued it kind of funny. So I will glue that together, and then I will come in here and I will glue the first page together. So then I have a really clean first page, and then every other page I'm going to come in here and glue together. So I have an even number on this particular journal. I'm going to start here with this center one, and I'm just using some matte medium. You can absolutely use Mod Podge if you want, but I prefer Liquitex matte medium whenever possible to use that. Anytime I'm working with matte medium or Mod Podge, I put on some gloves. I just keep these handy, really just because I absolutely hate having to pick off it doesn't come off when you wash it, and it kind of leaves that little skin, and I absolutely hate it. So I'm just going to put some matte medium in. You could absolutely glue these together too. I just find that I like the matte medium because I can do a nice, even wash across the page, and really get in here and seal in that string as well. So I'm just going to glue these every other page together, and stick this down. So I'm going to stick down my iron on top of there. I can go in and seal my page corners down later. But again, this page and this page we're going to glue together. So again, I try to go all the way to the edge if you can. Definitely helpful to do that. You could absolutely use a glue stick too. If that is what you prefer to stick these together, by all means, grab a glue stick and do it that way as well. I am just going to use the matte medium because that's what I prefer. I love these antique irons, by the way. I have a couple different versions of it, but they make the best paperweight. So if you ever find these really cute antique irons, the other thing is they clean up really well and they don't really stick to much. I don't really need the 160 pages or whatever are in this particular journal. So that's why I am choosing to take some of these out. Right? So you could do this one page at a time. Glue stick would probably be less messy, all in all. And then you'll let each one of these kind of signatures dry. And so essentially what I would have is a double page that's been glued, another double page that's been glued, and we'll keep going. I usually custom make my own book. I thought in this one I would try doing a commercially made book. I just want it thick enough so that when I go to use markers and paint and whatnot on each page, like it's not going to bleed through to the other pages, which is also why I'm a proponent for doubling up the pages. So you could even go through and maybe even triple up the pages if you wanted. It really just depends on where your signatures align. Always hold on to your excess paper because you can use this for other projects, right? So now and you can use it for other things within the book. So making pockets or belly bands or whatnot, we can utilize that same paper. I am probably, once I finish all of this, going to distress the edges of the book. Do all your pages, and then you're going to let it dry really thoroughly over the next couple of days and ready to go and fully prepped for the fun that we're about to have. As always, cut less chaos, glue more joy, and let AI turn your stash into style. Stay tuned on Facebook in the Journal Jams group because I'm going to be adding a bunch of AI images that I've pulled out of JunkJournal.AI to go with your journal. And by the way, if you'll let me know kind of what style you want, that'll help me to pull out the right things. Our goal is to have JunkJournal.AI up and ready to go by October 1.